I'll start off with a little pinstriping.
Okay.
Pinstriping's symmetrical or it's not, and this is already started out non-symmetrical. I'm going to go symmetrical over it and see what happens.
Okay.
The thing with pinstripe art is there's no rules. You can't spell it wrong, and you just kind of make it up as you go. Everything is best when you're clean as a whistle.
Clean as a whistle. Okay.
I was explaining to him how over the last few years I've been doing this thing where I have my hand and I kind of steady it with this hand, and I've been doing it for striping and then into my lettering. You know, I get more control in my lettering. And the main, keeping this little baby finger, you know, sometimes you want to cut it off, but it's your support, so I don't. Some guys just work without this hand. They just work like that. Like anything, art or whatever, everybody has their own way. And sometimes I learn things from people. I try it differently, or they learn from me. And other times you just discover it, like something works. And if you're doing a design, you start on your weak side. So I'm left-handed, so I would do the right side first, and then, but I don't just do a whole bunch over here and then go over here because I'll forget how I did it. Tattooists do striping. You know, it's kind of a natural for them. Finish off here.
Sure. Well, it's, you know, often people say, well, what do you do? And you say, well, I'm an artist. And you say, oh yeah, well, what kind of art do you do? And then you say, well, what kind of art you want me to do? You know, it's, you know, nobody's really two-dimensional. If you're probably reasonably okay at one thing, you're probably reasonably okay at a few other things, you know, that are interpretive like that. Like you were saying before, you love watercolor. You know, I'm sure you're a fine watercolor artist.
Sort of a swoop. I like the swoop. I really like the swoop idea.
I like the sound of swoop. The word just sounds so
Put it
cool.
on the swoop. WNDERING. Making sure the G fits. It's a little tricky because I'm doing on a curve. You have to kind of stretch it.
Right.
And you come around like so.
Sort of like so.
Yeah.
It's always the way.
Usually I use a little knife because this stuff's tough. Other tapes.
Oh, right, it's sort of plasticized. It's not the cloth stuff that we usually use for painting. Huh? It's like
No, it's kind of like ruby tape in that it's thin like that, and it makes a nice sharp edge.
Right.
So I run the paint over the tape, and then when I peel the tape away, you've got nice sharp edges.
Right. And what's that, a balloon on the end to sort of give you a little bit of grip?
It's a tip of a rubber glove over a cork.
All right.
Used to have a ball on it. This I bought in 1963, and I've lost it and found it quite a few times. If I wasn't using the tape, I would be coming down and doing the end of the strokes different. It takes more finesse.
Right.
But I wanted to speed this up.
I see it really, the brush, the paint, the movement, all combined together. It's got a flow. It flows. It's not like you're forcing it.
Yeah. Now, if this was a specific style, it's your logo in, you know, some design, then I would have a pattern. I would have a pre-drawn thing that I could use to guide me.
Right.
And say this is a truck doors. Well, I don't want to draw it out twice, so I would draw the pattern and then I'd tape it on the truck and transfer the design, and then take it over the other side and boom, boom, transfer the design there, and then go ahead and paint. I got an accurate thing to follow. I've only laid it out once on the paper.
I love the way how How nice and sharp all the letters are. My.
It's, you know, people say, oh, what do they say? Yeah, it's the brush. It really, I mean, if you try to do this with a, that's the thing, seeing people.
Brush or something.
Yeah, you know, it's got to be a lettering brush. Otherwise, you're just, it'd be like you trying to carve and you're using, I don't know.
Spoon.
Yeah, it's not the right tool. It's just, you know. I'll take the tape off now. Sometimes the paint's a little, if I've had it a little thin, right. And I peel it off, static electricity. Hate that. So rounded letters, you always run a little above and below the line, because if you had them right on the line, since they break away, they would look too small. So O's, S's, or the bottom of a U always goes below the guideline or an O.
I like the way you've made the letters sort of squeezed too. Like they're not as tall, like they're wider in the front, and then with the hand stuff, when you're on computer, you're always tied to certain font size, and
you can alter things and heights, and you can distort, and you can do a lot of things, and you know, you can grab the nods, you know, when like the points.
Right.
And I found when I was, you know, the last year or two, I was at the shop and I was using the computer, I was doing that. I was grabbing the nods, and I thought, if I had a brush, I'd be using the brush here. Now I'm using these little pull things. Really a sweet brush.
oh
Lettering's made for stroking up like that. Yeah. Left-handed, you're kind of coming down, having to join, and it took a while, but it casual and script is, you know, just a favorite to do.
Cool. Okay, here we go.